Hi, this is Doug Daugherty and with Hamilton Flourishing, and we're continuing our interviews with all the multiple candidates running for school board in Hamilton County. Now, we think that this race is the most important race going on in Hamilton County, the school board races. Why would we say that? Well, first, there's 45,000 children that are going K through 12 in Hamilton County public schools. Uh, their budget, if you include the bonds, is about $500 million, which is taxpayer money. Um, the as they're one of the largest employers in Chattanooga, the school system, with over 6,000 employees. Employers are waiting to hire these people to be ready to work um, all over the county. They're looking for good people to work for them. And then you've got the hopes and dreams of all these young people in the schools, and a large part of their education nurture will come from their education. So it's a big deal. The system has lots of challenges, and we're hoping that the new school board, which will be 11 people this time instead of the 9 last time, new districts have been drawn, will really make a difference in our school system. But we're thrilled today, really thrilled to get to talk to Virginia and Manson. Virginia, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Doug. Thank you for having me.
Well, we're delighted that you're here. Everything looks so pretty in your wherever you are, and um, you look nice too.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Uh, Tell us a little about yourself, Virginia. And are you a native Chattanoogan?
I am. I am Doug. I was born and raised in Hamilton County. My children were raised and educated here in Hamilton County, and my grandchildren are currently being raised here. My father was Dr. Hicks Corey was a pediatrician in Hamilton County for well over 40 years. And he really was a living example to me and my brothers. Um, he worked with children his entire life and had such an effect on me and my desire to serve. He believes strongly, as do I, that in order to have a great future, we have to invest in the next generation, which was a little bit about what you were talking about.
So you've got your own kids and you've got grandkids, so you've got a multiple generation family.
Yes.
Are any of the children, or have any of the children been in public school, either children or grandchildren?
My grandchildren are too young at this point. They will be.
Okay,
My oldest grandchild is 5, and she will enter public school kindergarten next year. My 3 children went to public elementary school.
okay. And which one was that?
Lookout Mountain Elementary.
Oh, that's a wonderful school. They
It
score
is.
in the top in the state in terms of literacy and math and all kinds of things. So
That's right. And it had a big impact on me and my desire to do this, but also the experience that it gave me of what works in a public school.
and that's an argument for this is a bit of a diversion, but that's an argument for the community school versus the mega schools that we're building now,
Absolutely. No
which is
doubt.
going to be something that you all, if you get elected, are going to have to wrestle with philosophically. Is neighborhood schools a better idea than the big mega schools that
Oh,
we're
I'm
seeing?
fully behind that community neighborhood school. And
Yeah,
and
yeah.
this experience has solidified that opinion, meeting with the different schools and experiencing each community and each principal and their challenges and strengths as well.
Yeah. Now tell us, what do you do now, Virginia?
At this point, I'm the director of boarding and admissions at Baylor School.
Uh-huh.
Um,
So
and
you're interacting with students all the time, I guess.
well, and I think, you asked how I would be qualified, and in my job, I work, with the headmaster, with administrators, teachers, students, and families. And we really have a 360-degree view of what needs to happen in a school setting in order for it to be successful, and what everybody needs to be successful.
Hmm.
And in order to be successful at my role, I had to work with all these people, and it was imperative that we work together, to achieve
Well, that's
academic
good
excellence.
because as a school board member, it's not one person who gets to decide. You have to get a majority to vote with you.
That's
So
right.
that's good that you've had that kind of collaboration in your work, and also that you come as added as an educator who has been a little bit outside the system. So you bring a different kind of model, but you've had children who had a wonderful experience in a public school, and
Right.
you've got a different kind of a different perspective on what it is, which I think is great because
I do too.
I like
I
the
think
idea of
it's
reform very much in the public
right.
school.
I think it's a fresh look. It brings a different perspective. And I'm coming from a successful, academic environment.
Now you're running as a Republican, right?
I am. I am.
And I don't think you have any opposition in the primary. Is that right?
I don't in the primary.
So you'll
Um,
be facing somebody, two people, I think, in the general election in August, a Democrat and a independent.
yes.
So
Yes, I will.
we'll see how the independents fare. They don't usually do very well, but we'll see how they do. Um, so tell us about District 11. Where is it?
So District 11 would be, so you want to know the areas, I guess, and that would
Yeah,
be,
yeah.
well, Lookout Mountain, Lookout Valley, East Lake, Alton Park, East Side, some of Missionary Ridge, and St. Elmo.
So it's a kind of a long, thin sort of thing, isn't it?
It is, and quite, different,
Very diverse.
diverse. Yes, absolutely. And it's interesting though, because I think about, yes, it's very diverse. At the same time, education, everybody wants a strong education. I don't care where you're from or your background. Educating your children and having that great fundamental education is common
Now,
with all of us.
now what schools are in your district, District 11?
Lookout Valley Middle, Lookout Mountain Valley Elementary, Lookout Mountain, Calvin Donaldson, the Howard School, Howard Connect, Battle Academy, East Side, Clifton Hills, East Lake Academy of Fine Arts, and East Lake Elementary.
Do you have a high school in your district?
Yes, I think I just, let's see. So
Is
Lookout
that
Valley,
Howard?
yeah, Howard, Lookout Valley.
So you have Howard High School in your district?
I do, I do.
Oh,
I'm going to see.
that's a really diverse district.
Oh, I love Dr. Ware. She's doing such a wonderful job. So dynamic. But it is, it's definitely different. So Howard School, Lookout Valley High School, and I'm trying to think what else is the high school. There's a middle and elementary. Yes.
So let's jump right into the 5 questions we've asked everybody for Virginia Ann. And we are talking to Virginia Ann Manson. She's running as a Republican in District 11 for the school board, which we think is very important. And the first question is, why are you qualified to serve on the Hamilton County School Board, Virginia Ann?
Well, and we've discussed a little bit of this as you introduced me, but first off, being from Hamilton County and having a great love for not only Hamilton County and the people who live here, and understanding the importance of the school system to our county. But also, I've served on the boards of Girls Inc., Little Ms. Magday Early Learning Center, T.C. Thompson Children's Hospital, and for the last over 15 years, I've been an administrator at Baylor School. The lessons that I've learned in terms of working together with headmaster, administrator, students, teachers, and parents, and understanding the importance of us working together towards one goal, towards the mission of our school, which is to educate. I would like to take those skills that I've learned in the, on the board level. All those different boards were focused on children, education, children's health, and what I've learned on the school level and
Now,
apply that successful blueprint to Hamilton County schools.
that's great. Now, as I understand it, you'll be, is it retiring in June?
I will be.
So if you win this race, then you've got full time to really focus on it.
I do. I do. You know,
Well,
I decided to
they
retire.
pay well, so I know that's why you're doing it. So
Do what?
I said, I know they pay well, so I know that's why you're doing it. I'm just
Right.
teasing. I'm just teasing.
Yes.
Somebody told me that it comes out to about 30 cents an hour, but
Yeah.
um,
No,
no,
I didn't. These two weren't. These two decisions were made separately.
yeah.
I felt it was time to,
Well, all I was saying is you'll be freed up, unlike other candidates who have jobs and things like
absolutely,
that,
absolutely.
to really focus.
And I'm excited about the opportunity to do that.
And the district you represent is going to take a good deal of attention. Well, look, we mentioned that you're from District 11, but you also join a board that's over the whole school system. So you all hire the superintendent, but you're over the whole school system. So as you've gone out and talked to people about the public school system, and you went out and met people and knocked on doors and all that stuff, done your research and such, and your reading, what are the big challenges that you think face the whole school system?
Well, I think that there are three that quickly come to mind to me, and I believe they affect each other. So I would say certainly the low literacy rate and academic preparedness. I think that, that's, we know that. But I would also say low parent involvement and teacher retention. Those would be the first three that come to mind. And I believe they work together. The strongest performing schools have, strong PTAs and parent involvement, parents that come along and serve the teachers as those teachers lead the academic way. And I think what happens when you have challenges in the schools that don't have parent involvement is that then that leaves the teachers, to not only teach, but also have to provide these all-encompassing supports, which leads to teacher burnout. And I said it, earlier, we just are better when we work together. And so I think those are the three biggest challenges that we have. And I'll work hard to encourage policies that are, have transparency in what was being taught, and encourage parents to be involved.
So the three big ones for you are literacy, parent involved, and teacher retention, right?
Yes.
Okay, great. Now, next question is, what would be your priorities? I mean, you've got District 11 schools ranging from neighborhood schools to urban high schools. Howard, in its case, has its own traditions that are very, very strong. And it's becoming as much Hispanic as it has been traditionally Black. And, so there's all kinds of things going on in your district. So what would be your priorities?
Well, I mean, you asked me what the challenges are, and I think that tells me what my priorities are as well. I do believe that parent involvement, really does fix a lot of problems. Parents being focused on their children's academics, being involved in the school, certainly helps the child as well as helps the community in the school and the teachers and the administrators. And so those would be my priorities. I mean, trying to definitely the literacy rate and academic preparedness, because that is really a building block for our county, and it's also crucial for an individual's happiness and success. But I do, and then the teacher retention, that too. So those three things, you asked me what the challenges are, those would be my priorities right there.
Well, good. You're a very articulate woman.
Oh,
Well, the school board has really three big jobs. The first one is that it's like a board of directors. Anybody who's familiar with that,
That's
is they typically hire whoever runs whatever organization it is. So in this case, it's a superintendent. So the first responsibility is to hire or fire the superintendent. And so that's a big responsibility. They just have a new superintendent out there now. So I imagine he'll be around for a few years. So that's one priority or one thing they do. The other thing they do is they set policy, and policy tends to change with whatever currents are in the wind. It's also shaped a bit by federal and state mandates. But one time you're dealing with literacy, the next time you're dealing with what books are in the library, the next time you may be dealing with I don't know, just different policy issues. Teacher pay or just pay go to everybody or just the teachers increases and things like that. So there's a lot of things that come up under policy that are more situational. But the biggest tool I think that you've got in managing the school system is the budget. And that's the place where you all get to actually see what is going to be spent on line item. And I know the budget is a big one, and I know they use a lot of what do they call them, acronyms or letters to describe the position. And it's a little mysterious to a lot of people, and even people who I've talked to on the school board have to go ask, well, what is this and what is that? But have you studied the budget, Virginia Ann, in both operational and capital, and have you looked at it?
I have, and it is pretty overwhelming. I have to admit, but I've studied it. I've talked to a current school board member, a past school board member. I've talked to a state representative, and just trying to get my arms around it. And in fact, I think there's some budget meetings in May that
Yes.
I really want to attend, and so to learn more. And so I know, I've learned a lot from talking to them. It sounds like, what happens is, your superintendent, Department of Education create their budget and what those departments need. They bring it to the school board, and the school board, tweaks it, approves it, and then they take it to the county. And the county either approves it, and from what and that each year, if you approve that budget, that's your base. They can give a growth, but then again, the next year, that's your base again.
Right.
And that's by
People don't understand that, but it's actually a state law that you can't decrease the budget.
Right. Okay.
So every time they increase the budget, even if they should lose a lot of students, it
stays the base.
The budget stays the same.
Right.
So it's an odd kind of law, but it's the way it's written.
Right. And I think you have to go to the state to have that changed. But
right.
You mentioned the capital versus the operational. And so my understanding is, though, that the county commission makes decisions, and you said earlier in our interview, in terms of the big capital, like building buildings.
Right.
And then, the school board really is maintenance, has a discretion of maintenance and that type of thing.
Right. But the superintendent is recommending to the they're looking at the growth of the whole county. The county mayor's office, through all of his data points, looks at the growth of the county and says, "Oh, we're going to need a new school over here," and talks to the superintendent. He says, "Yes, we do need a new school over here." It used to be that the school system, Hamilton County Department of Education, saved up money and would build new schools. But about, I don't know, I guess it was 25 or 30 years ago, the county started taking over the school things. And now if you talk to Mayor Coppinger, he will tell you it's part of the capital budget. So much like roads, sewers, bridges, and schools are considered part of the infrastructure. And that's why they do them as bonds. But So it's a little bit of an odd animal, but that's the way it is. Real important question, because I think it's important, especially to Republicans and conservatives and people who care about these things. What do you think about a tax increase? Would you support a tax increase for Hamilton County School?
I'm not in favor of a tax increase. Um, Especially right now, having my district having gone through COVID and now dealing with inflation. I would not. I think we need to be good stewards of the money that the taxpayers have given us.
Well, that's great, Virginia. And this has been a great interview. You sound like a great candidate. We wish you well.
Thank you.
Tell the folks, Virginia Ann, this is Virginia Ann Manson. She's running for District 11 School Board, and which is she's the only Republican in the primary, and so then she'll be facing a Democrat and independent in the general election in August. So this is an important race. If you like Virginia Ann, if you like the way she's talked and the way she's expressed herself, and the background she brings, Virginia Ann, how can people reach out to you?
I would say my website, Virginia Ann, one word, and Ann with an E, virginiaann.org. They can find out a little more about me, volunteer, donate, all right there.
Okay, Virginia Ann with an E.org.
Correct.
I don't know how you got that, but that's a pretty good URL. Well, Virginia Ann, this has been great. Thank you for sharing your time with us, and we hope that everything goes well for you.
Thank
Okay.
you, Doug. I sure appreciate the opportunity.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.